Hello, welcome to Python programming video series. This is Professor Xiao Ma. Here in this video, I'm going to demonstrate how to follow the Module 1 on setting up the Python programming environment. Before you start, the materials that you need are 4 tutorials under Module 1. And have them open and ready. Here I have module 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4. Also, in this video, I'm going to continue after I finish module 1 to install the Rise slideshow under as described under module 2.0. Okay. The installation doesn't require you to have Windows. You can install Python in Mac OS, that would be fine. But here I'm using a Windows 10 professional version to demonstrate the installation process. Alright, the first thing to do is to download the correct version of Python. I recommend the Python version 3.6.4. Because of some of the reasons that's described in the module. So I'm going to click the link to directly download the version for Windows. And I'm going to save it into my download folder. And after download, I'm going to go to the download folder and I will find the executable installation file I just downloaded. Now, if you have an administrator role, it's best to run it with an administrator role to avoid any unforeseeable troubles. To start, and note that this is a 32-bit version of the Python installation. And confirm that you don't need to change any settings here, but to confirm that it will be saved under this path. And note here that you will see the correct spelling of your username of your Windows account, the account that you're currently using, and you're installing the Python 2. So, and this path will be used later. Especially this portion, you will use your own username to replace the portion here and in your installations. So by using the recommended setting, you go ahead and click start. Setup was successful. Now you have successfully installed Python here. According to the module, the first thing you need to check after successful installation is to confirm your installation in command prompt. So you want to open up a command prompt. The quickest way to do it in Windows 10 is to click Windows key and R together. It's a shortcut for Run app of Windows, and here you want to use a code to open up command prompt. Use command prompt CMD like I do here and click enter or OK. Command prompt is opened. Now here, in order to open Python, you need to specify the directory where Python is installed before you can call it. Otherwise, you will get an error like this. You will get a prompt that's saying where to download Python, but you already have installed Python, right? So I'm going to tell you how to correctly call Python. In order to do that, you need to navigate to correct path where you installed SAS, you need to copy and paste this path, including the CD part. Copy and paste and go to the portion where you need to replace with your username. My username is XMA, and replace the portion including the pointy parentheses. And what can you do if you didn't remember your username? You can go to your directory, and by going to your username, which is typically in bold, click that, go to Documents, and click an open space in the address bar, and you can see that your username is in the path, and use the exact, you can copy and paste, use the exact username in here, So after doing that, click OK, click enter. I have gone to the specific directory here, and under that you are going to launch Python, and there you go. You have you're confirming that Python 3.6.4 is successfully installed. Now exit Python by doing, and now you have come back to the command prompt. Now continue with the module. The next step is to set up the environmental variables in Windows. Okay, at this point, let's close the prompt and follow the step 4 here. Go to the Properties window of the operating system. Best way to do that is go to a Windows directory. Under this PC, right click, go to Properties. Just like what it says, go to the Properties of the Windows system. Let me rearrange my windows here. Now go to the Advanced System Settings, rearrange the windows, and go to System, and go to Environment Variables. Okay, under System Variables, create a variable whose name is Python home, and copy the address here, and be careful. If your module version is the same as mine, you need to make a slight modification here. Besides replacing with your username here, you would also need to add -32 to indicate the 32-bit version of the Python that's installed. If your version reflects a change, then no worries. Just copy and paste the entire string and replace with your own username. And go ahead and OK. Confirm that you have a Python. Make sure the spelling is correct. Python _ home, and the path include the 32-bit version indicator. Now, the next step is to add this Python home variable into the system path. Still under system variables, locate the path go into editing mode and create a new variable under the system and indicate the Python home variable you just created. Make sure to surround that by the percentage point to indicate the variable name, and make sure the Python_home spelling is correct. And so confirm that and add another one. You can copy and paste to make it easier. You can make another one, and now with a subscripts folder directory underneath, and you should only need these two, and let's see what happens. Make sure you click OK and OK again in order to confirm the settings, and one more OK to fully confirm the settings. Click OK until you exit into this window, and now you can proceed with verify the installation of Python environment variables by going to the command Windows key plus R and open the command. And this time, instead of going to the directory where Python is installed, you can type Python directly, and hopefully it recognizes the Python installation. There you go. Python 3.6.4 is installed. Now the environmental variables are set up correctly. You didn't have to do it. Now exit again into Windows and minimize it for now. Okay, excellent. You have finished step 4. Now follow that with step 5 to finish the installation, to confirm that pip is already installed with your version of Python, and that pip command is recognized. Okay, simply type. So use pip3 to specifically indicate that this is Python. This is a pip for Python 3. If you get a response like this, that means your Python, including pip, is installed correctly. Congratulations. Now, it's time to install. It's time to follow module 1.2 to install some necessary libraries here. The first step here, you see that I have my module 1.2 open. The first step is to open a command prompt. Again, shortcut Windows key plus R and open command. The first thing to install is to install Jupyter Notebook. You can go with pip or pip3, specifically used for Python 3. Install Jupyter, and Jupyter will be downloaded and installed. Make sure that your computer has internet access. Otherwise, it will give you an error saying cannot be downloaded. Alright, Jupyter Notebook is installed. And by the way, I got a message saying that pip tool is a little outdated. The current version is 20. Do I want to update it? Yes, for sure. Let's update it. You can simply select the entire command, copy and paste, and simply run. Great. Now follow the step 3 of module 1.2 to install another package. This time it's the pandas package. pip3 install pandas. Alright, pandas is installed correctly. Now the next step would be to go to module 1.3 to configure Jupyter directory. Now the reason why you need to do that is because you sometimes manage different projects and different courses, so it's better if you have a file system that differentiates different directories for different projects. And you can read other more explanations here in the module. And so first step, again, open command prompt. I've already opened it. And do this. First, dedicate a folder under a directory that is easy to access. Typically, I would recommend that you do that under your username, your documents, and create a folder under the documents. You can do Python project, just like the module says, Python project, or you can name something differently. So anything you like, as long as you remember what you used, because later you will specify that directory in the Jupyter configuration file. After you have created and dedicated a folder, now then you're ready to go back to the command and run a command like this. You can copy the command here under your username. It's okay to run with that. Jupyter Notebook generate config, and it will generate a configuration file under your username. Jupyter, it's a hidden folder. I'm going to teach you how to find that hidden folder. If you go to your username, okay, under that you have a file. Now you need to open it, but don't double click it. Like it says here, do not double click it. Use a text editor. I currently haven't installed any text editor, so I will use the native. Open with Notebook. I'm going to open Notepad first, make it smaller, and I will drop the configuration file in the Notepad in order to edit it, and search, because it's a long file, it's hard to locate it. Search notebook _dir. You will find a line which is commented out. Now you want to remove the comment in order to make it effective, and include that path under here. Now which path? Before you do the path, make sure that you indicate it's a Unicode string so that it's less system dependent, and copy that folder's directory you just created. Now the folder is under your documents and workspace. So you can simply right click, you can simply copy the entire thing and go back to the text editor to copy that. And something very important, you need to make sure you escape the backslash in order for the path to be correctly read. Now notice that the path I use here, the directory, is different from what is stated in the module, but it's fine as long as it is the path that you want to use for Jupyter Notebook projects. Save that, close that, and you're good to go. Now you are ready to launch Jupyter Notebook, and all your files will be under that directory. So let's check that. Let's create a sample. Demonstrated sample data file, and let's see if that file will be in that directory. I'll go back to the command prompt and launch Jupyter Notebook. Simply type Jupyter Notebook. Make sure it is lowercase, and make sure it is Y. It's not I, it's Y. Simply click enter. And Jupyter Notebook will be open with your default browser. Here it is. The sample data file is already in the workspace directory I created. This just indicates that the testing has been successful. Congratulations, you have installed Jupyter Notebook. The next step will be to finish the module 1.4. Launch Jupyter Notebook from the console. From this point on, every time you start working on Jupyter Notebook, you will go to the command prompt and launch Jupyter Notebook just as I did. You cannot directly open Jupyter Notebook by going into the browser. It simply doesn't work. Even if you create a shortcut or a bookmark, it won't work, because you have to go through Windows prompt, command prompt, to launch your Jupyter server session before you can connect to and start using the Jupyter Notebook. Okay, by launching and testing Jupyter Notebook, you have already completed module 1.4. So all module 1 has been finished. Alright, so I'm going to continue to do the module 2 to install Rise. And to do that, first let me create a sample Jupyter Notebook file and confirm that Rise is not installed by default. It is not by default installed. Let me modify the name of the Jupyter Notebook file. Demo1, demo J Notebook 1. And the Rise icon is not here. Save. When you want to close a Jupyter Notebook, the best way to do that, this is to close a Jupyter Notebook file, a particular notebook file. The best way is to save first and then go to File, Close, and Halt. This will finish the engine for that particular notebook, but the entire Jupyter session will keep going. Now, what to do when you are ready to exit Jupyter and finish the current server session? The best way is to go and click Quit. Then you have a black screen. Server has stopped. This is the safest way to do that. And go back to your command prompt to confirm that you have been out of the Jupyter session. The kernel has shut down and 0 kernels are being active. And you can safely close that browser. Okay, now to install Rise, go back to the command prompt, install Rise, and go with pip. I like pip 3. Install Rise. Hit enter and monitor the progress. The Rise has already been installed successfully. Great. And at this time, you're ready. And this time you're ready to follow the step 3 to finish off the correct configuration of Rise. Don't skip this step, because this will be important to the user experience of using Rise. Now, inside the command prompt, run Jupyter NB extension install Rise and do the system prefix. Control, copy, and I accidentally put a space before that. Let me do that. Clear that space and click enter. Now this has been initialized, and then need to enable the Rise toolset. Copy, make sure it says enable Rise, enter, and validating. Okay, it's been validated. Now what you can do is you can launch the Jupyter Notebook again. Go into a Jupyter Notebook, confirm that your Rise enter exit Rise button has already appeared, and there you go. You have successfully installed and configured Rise Slideshow. Now you can view the professor's modules, beginning module 2, as slideshows within the Jupyter Notebook. Congratulations. Now this is the end of the video. Thanks for watching.